As early as 1000 BC, the peoples of this area engaged in local trading of raw materials such as iron, ivory, and copper. In 1885, when European colonial powers divided most of the continent between them, Leopold II gained recognition as the sole owner of this territory in the heart of Africa, which he named the Congo Free State. In the 1950s, the people of the Congo started to mobilize in a national movement that saw autonomy and independence from Belgium in the 1960s. After the assassination of Prime Minister Emery Lumumba and back dictator Joseph Mobutu for over 3 decades, U.S. allies Rwanda and Uganda invaded the Congo twice. The removal of Mobutu in 1997 and the unleashing of who were perished in the conflict are children under the age of 5.
Africa has got to form the problem. So what is happening something councils, countries, and nations, which can be our richness, the wealth of Congo. So what is happening in Congo needs to be solved. The problem as far as politics is concerned, because you know that from the history from all up to now, working for a local NGO over in territory of province in the democratic. I think to me, the democratic is always the injustice. The kind of jungle now. That one genocide, since that time, in trouble, killing people, raping women, killing children, and so on. People, or even a little bit people that now it's already in, like job. I've come to say, they are opposing, and the politicians are there, and big companies, international companies are there, and so on, to oppose, communities and provoke masculines. We are facing issue right now, and now I can think of as and the global and the self-hold. They are trying to support instability in some resource. That's the core question. That's the biggest question. So, think of who are behind getting them at a cheaper price. So,
Now we will take a few reflections from this video. Good evening, everyone. And my key takeaways from this video was that people around, and my key takeaway is unstable right now, and it has been exploited, and it has been in humanitarian crisis. That hard for help because we are taking advantage of that instability for their own economic gain. For that takeaway, we'll take.
Where all the materials that they're used to build the that's
Overview of the current in Congo. There are over 100 funded and coordinated by external forces, especially in eastern provinces. There are refugee camps in displacement crisis of over 10 million people, which has spread into surrounding countries. There is food insecurity, not only and gender-based violence being used as a weapon of many armed groups. Now to discuss the impact of the Congo's resources on global markets. The Congo's people represent its greatest potential with a population of 110 million people. Half are under the age of 18. The Congo is also a storehouse of specialty minerals, as mentioned in the video. There's cobalt, copper, zinc, in the global, etc. The Congo also possesses 64%. The Congo's role in global health. The Congo is a part of the second largest rainforest in the world, which is vital in the fight against global warming and climate change. Congo has a hydro capacity for the entire African continent. The entire African continent. Thrilled to be here with members of the Friends of the Congo organization. And so we wanted to share a little bit about the organization in and of itself. We have the mission, the vision, and I would love to have a member from the audience read the mission.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Madison Mobley. I am a junior English major on the pre-law track. And in addition, we raise the consciousness of the
Thank you for your position. And can we have one person?
a people profit Congo right leader.
Thank you for your participation. First, we are thrilled to be joined by two members of the Friends organization, and we are so excited to have a panel of Basandja University in Congo. It is my honor to introduce Furaha Mussanzi. Furaha Mussanzi is passionate about social justice, grassroots change, and using creative means to promote peace. Having grown up in a war-torn country, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and moving to DRC 22 years ago as a refugee, and spent 6 years managing both sides of a small community center located in the inner city of Africa, meeting the needs of local people by providing refugees and domestic abuse victims and families. Furaha currently works as the pastoral care leader for local church, as well as being an ecumenical canon at Bradford Cathedral. Her deep faith is central to everything she does and has inspired her to work as a freelance speaker in Sorority, to use her voice and to highlight the injustice of the Congo, as well as switch and full factors of migration and its effect on society. Furaha is also a singer and songwriter and is working on releasing her debut music album in December 2024. And I have the honor of introducing Attorney Carrie Crawford, the co-founder and chair of the Friends of Congo. She's been an impressive advocate for immigrants' rights and numerous and humanitarian law. The practice attorney, she provides services for protection of human and civil rights of individuals with HIV and AIDS and other vulnerable populations on African affairs and Jewish AIDS. Attorney Crawford has served as a technical advisor to government on environmental issues and was co-chair of the American Bar Association Africa Subcommittee, which organized official delegations to South Africa and Nigeria. She is an executive board member of the Congo Global Action and a member of the African Judicial Network. She is a graduate of the University of Law and Moore State University. Now, I would like your help in welcoming to the stage.
Thank you all. I can't tell you how wonderful it is to see all of your faces. And I wish I could take each and every one of you to Congo.
Thank you both for being here. I have a few questions for you all. What has community building across the diaspora look like for you both as women being a part of Friends of the Congo, and how do you see it evolving?
Well, we started Friends of the Congo back in 2004, and I can tell you it's been a long journey, but we expected that to be done. What we are here today to the Congolese are going to save themselves. We've always known that. They're always working to do that. And structures so that we can provide support for the organizations and the individuals who are putting themselves on the front line to do the work that they're doing. And so it's building a process of building support to universities like Spelman and Morehouse and wherever we could go, wherever we could get a place to make a presentation. That's what we would do. More and more interest about what's going on in the Congo. And finally, just this year, for some reason, we have seen an explosion of interest about why this is happening in the Congo. Aren't the Congolese the way they've been treated for the last 50 years? Mm-hmm. And we and it can stop with your support.
Yes, thank you for that answer. The next question is, what do people need to understand?
Yeah, I'll start by answering that. Yes. So for me, I think just to say, I grew up in the war as a child. So, in a war zone as a child, and all I knew was that there was insecurity to go back to normal sporadic conflict. I was under the age of 10, and then I moved to the UK as a refugee in 2000. About my country, just seeing how my parents have and they just became so committed to sharing about the story of Congo. I actually, as a refugee, there was no news about what was going on in Congo, and we had just fled, and so we were a bit baffled in the Western media. And so going back to Carrie's point, are we not human beings too? And so that became started, well, yeah, kind of put a light in the surface. The war is, it looks like on the facade complex, but it really isn't. If you understand the history, as we just wanted over the years, you know, through from Kenya. So it's not complex. What happens is community, and that is people think on the outside that Congo, these are just black people fighting against each other. But that's not true. But who would benefit? Because in Congo, as I said in the other room, we don't have who is financing for these wars to happen around that we all benefit from in the West is taken away. So in the world development, in technology, and everything that we have access to. My dad, as I was sat there listening to the introduction, beautiful analogy to explain this. He said Congo is like the most beautiful woman in the world. He used that to last for a reason. Because if you love something, you protect it. And so Congo is more protected. Everybody wants a piece of Congo, and they will do anything from the outside to cause the problem. But who's behind and who's benefiting from it? And we know China's exploiting Congo through Congo, and they're getting billions. They don't eat gold. They don't eat cobalt. Most people are living in poverty. So if you understand the dynamics of how that works.
Thank you for that response. The next question is, what perspective is missing from the conversation around the Congo?
That they are human beings, that they just want to live, they want to see their children grow, they want to see their children go to school, like we all want to. They are looking for a better life just as we all do. And I don't know what it is that we've had such a difficulty trying to get this point across to our community. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's been difficult for us for our Black community to receive the message we're trying to give you. What is it about the Congo that does not tug your heart and make you understand that this is something that we should be caring about? What do we have to say? Perhaps you need to tell me and tell us, because we've been doing this for 20 years. And why is not, we are breaking the silence about the horror of the Congo? Why is it taking so long? Well, I understand why it's taking long, because you kind of look at the situation in South Africa, how long that situation took. But we did get involved at some point in addressing that. We rallied for the South Africans to end 10 years. In fact, as I recall, Spelman was forced to divest from South Africa because of your student, the student activity. So it can be done. And we are looking for that same kind of energy around the Congo, because Congo matters. It matters to you. It matters to all of Africa. If you care about peace, you cannot have peace in Africa without having some peace in the Congo. It's right there in the heart of it. And it's, if you just look at it on the map, you'll see, and it's surrounded by 9 other countries. If we succeed in bringing stability, and that's the issue, stability. Cannot have peace without stability. You know, if a place is in turmoil, you can't get anything done. And so that's what we're seeking for Congo, peace. And we have to rally, we have to push, we have to do what is all necessary for that to happen. And it can happen, and it will happen, and I hope that you will be a part of making that happen. Because every little bit helps to move it just a little further in that direction.
Thank you for that response. What are aspects involving the genocide in the Congo that people are still unaware of that you wish had a larger platform, specifically regarding women?
I think the suffering of women is a huge one. I mean, all Congolese people's lives matter, right? But in a war context, rape is used as a weapon of war, and women are such crucial pillars of any community, right? But if you rape and destabilize the woman, you're killing the society. And so for me, I think that is a strategic way that is also used. And so you have women who are being, and the trauma that comes with that, not just physically, but emotionally, psychologically, and so on and so forth, of how they're viewed in society. You know, and men, they can't look at the women the same. Right? And for me, I think injustice and there's no justice to women in the same person that traumatized you. Impunity. There's survive and actually even weight that you're living with. So I think women's issue, North State University, I have a huge passion for young people. And as we said earlier, the sub-Saharan African continent has one of the youngest population, 60 plus for the continent. Unfortunately, they're not different. So many of them are so capable, incredibly talented, but you know, like you guys are here at university, they come out of unemployment, and you know that's why a lot of the rebels are so popular, because you know they can pay you to join the rebel group. The ways of making money, even if they, you know how crazy that is. So I think the stories need to be told, and the resilience needs to be told. And yes, women and children for sure, I would say. Do you have anything to say?
Women hold things together. Our brother Samuel Gassi, who is from Kisangani, he's here with us today. That organized 400 plus villages in that. When they began organizing, 70% of the funds women's work, women's hands, they're the ones. So you know what we do, the woman, then you can destroy the family.
Yeah.
And that's what's going on.
Thank you for this insightful conversation. We will now transition to a Q&A session.
Yes, thank you again for that incredible discussion. We want to.
Hi everyone, my name is Courtney Claire. I'm a second-year health science major on the pre-medicine track from St. Louis, Missouri. And I quote that you guys said, for example, are we not people? And these are just a couple of quotes about how we don't understand how people are actually ignoring these issues, how these are being silent. So you definitely got my attention. So my question is, how can we as U.S. citizens, and specifically as Belmanites, actually make an impact beyond financial?
So you're doing the first thing, you're learning about what's going on there, and you can't really once you know something, then you gotta act. You gotta do something. We heard that recently, right? And we don't care what you do, as long as it's moving our agenda forward to support the Congolese people. That is all we ask you to do. If you're interested, whatever you're interested in, use that talent. If you're a dancer, dance for the Congo. If you party for the Congo. Plan some parties for the Congo. We're fine with that. Everything, anything that you can do to raise the issue, break the silence. Now, there's this issue about the phones. We've talked about that campaign before to try to get people not to use their phones, but you know we're not going to not use our phones. Come on. So we got to be creative about this to get people engaged. Then there are the corporations, of course, who are benefiting from this exploitation of the people. Particularly, there was this lawsuit not long ago by the international rights advocates. They sued Tesla, Apple, Dell, Microsoft. They sued them for the treatment and exploitation of the children in the mines. But unfortunately, that suit was dismissed from the DC court circuit. And basically, because you can't, you know, in law, you got to prove the case. And the way they got around it was to say those companies were not responsible for what the suppliers back there did. So there was not a direct connection enough to proceed in a legal way. So that really, I think, is not going to be the way. The way is going to be more and more people raising their voices and talking to your families and your friends and telling them Do you know what's going on in the Congo? Please, we must do something about it.
Yeah, just to add on that point, I always say most of us here have social media, right? And we use so much of our time on social media. And one of the biggest ways of doing activism these days is on social media. So, and we've seen how the, Free Palestine movement is going on. And how many of you have even seen anything on social media on Congo? Zero. If I challenge all of you here to go away today and you just go on Friends of the Congo and you post something about what's going on in Congo, share it with your friends, you're already reaching an audience beyond this room. So I think the same way that we're benefiting from these phones, we have a responsibility to use the same phones that we're benefiting from to raise awareness. And also on top of that, I think I would say that don't overthink it. What you can do could be small, but it's so powerful. It could feel like a drop in the ocean. But as I shared again previously before we got here, Congolese people, and I have family in Congo right now that I'm talking to and telling them, I'm in the US, this is my first time in the US, and there are people who are coming into the room wanting to hear about Congo, and it moves them to know that people actually care enough to want to sit in a room to learn about what's going on. So even the fact that you're here, you should absolutely, pat yourself on the back for being here, but, knowledge is power. And if we all leave this room with just one thing to do, that we challenge ourselves, I'm going to go and read. There are so many resources on what you can read. There are, resources on the Friends of the Congo website. Go and educate yourself, and once you know better, do better.
Sure.
Good evening, my name is Jocelyn Baker. I'm a sophomore international studies major, forced migration and refugee studies minor from Columbia, Maryland. And I wanted to ask you, I know you're pointing out that China has a lot of gain from exploiting Congo because of cobalt and other minerals. And I know that when it comes to humanitarian aid, oftentimes it's very politicized about what would actually help the United States. Like when we see Israel and Palestine, it's very politicized giving aid to Israel to help with the conflict. So how do you think the Congo can get resources or money to help the genocide without big powers like U.S. and China and Russia playing a role?
With each and every one of you here today doing something about the Congo. It is not a puzzle. What can be done about the Congo is in your hands and in the hands of the Congolese, because they're not sitting here waiting for you to save them. They're not. They're working. They're organizing. They're trying to raise the $20 that they can raise to send a child to school for a month. $20. I mean, so what Sister Furaha is saying is that the little we do goes so far outside of the United States. We are so used to $10 coffees, and it's amazing what just a little effort on your part can do and how far it can take us.
Yeah, and just to raise something else on top of that, what we keep repeating is Congo does not need charity. It needs solidarity. And so I would say, just the fact that you're here, that we keep repeating, the Congolese people are the only ones who are going to liberate themselves.
Exactly.
But we have to do our bit to support organizations that are actually helping people on the ground. The thing with aid is only a small percentage of what goes to those countries actually reaches the people.
Exactly.
So we have to be strategic on how we're supporting these countries too, right? And so the amazing work of Friends of the Congo is, what stood out to me is that they are rooted with the grassroots organization in Congo. It's about empowering those who are on the ground, who are already doing the work, right? Who are already pushing for change, who are challenging the system, who are facing tremendous challenges, I have to say. Some of them, this is why some of us have ended up in exile. This is why we've had to leave our countries, because the work that are being done in the country is also dangerous. But it's supporting those who are movers and shakers on the ground to continue to do the work that will one day bring change.
I know places like Hawaii don't appreciate tourists, but in places like the Caribbean, they thrive off tourists. Do you believe the Congo would thrive or appreciate tourists, or do you believe like we should support from afar?
Well, we should do both. And I don't know about tourism, but I just got back from the Congo about a month or so ago, and they were so happy to see someone like me, because they asked me, where have you been? How long? Why did it take you so long to come? Because other people come. Other people are in Congo. Everybody's in Congo except us. Okay, so they're waiting for us. And we are facilitating delegations to the Congo every June. We're taking groups to the Congo. Professor Samari has been taking his students, connecting his students at Morehouse to the Congo for a number of years now.
It's not in person, but
connection. Even if you can start a virtual connection, connect with the student or family in the Congo, that would go a long way to bridging the gaps of misunderstanding that we have now. And there are misunderstandings. Many times they question why we don't seem to be concerned about them. And it's really distressing to me to have to experience their feeling that we don't care about what's happening to them. And so I try to explain to them where we are coming from, but there is no excuse now with this, the way we can connect in the world, as Furaha said about the social media. There are ways you can connect, but the ones of you who can go, you should go. You should try to go. The ones of you are particularly, the ones of you who are specializing in medicine and those areas are huge need. When I was there, we went to this island where the families were just living in huts, and there was no medical care. One of the organizations we connected with sent one doctor in the field to care for 300 children. And they only had a weekend to do this. And this is just one person, but that person did that. And they were so grateful for every little thing that you do. They are very grateful for it. And you can feel that the appreciation that's coming from just the thought that you are trying to understand their situation and relate to their situation, and then act to do something to help their situation.
And just to say, if you just Google Congo, it'd be interesting what will come up. The only thing you'll see is soldiers with guns, violence, dead people. But on the flip side of that, don't be fooled by what you're seeing in the media. Because the reality is, Congo is one of the most beautiful places on the earth.
Yes.
So it is, honestly, I call it paradise. There are parts of Congo where you just think, is this even Earth? It's so beautiful. So I think tourism, on your point, is one of the biggest untapped potential in Congo. There are places where tourism exists. So and there are pockets of Congo, huge parts of Congo that is very safe. probably safer than the US. Like, I'm coming here the first time in the UK and I was scared, okay? Because I've heard things in the media about what goes on down here, I'm just saying. But there are parts of Congo that is safer than even this country. I'm just saying, I'm just telling the truth. So I would say, you know, if you're interested and you're passionate about Congo and Africa in general, the biggest way you can learn is to go. You will never experience it until your feet touch the ground and you feel the air and you see that sun hit you. It's deep. It's deep. But I'm saying this because I think, again, going back to the point of safety and peace, if we have peace in Congo, that's one of the biggest areas that will thrive because people will come to see. We have, if you just Google Virunga National Park, beautiful places, incredible animals and species. Like one of my favorite animals is called the okapi. Okay, I wish we had a photo up on there. It's only found in the Congo. It's the cross between like a horse and a zebra, but it's the most serene, stunning animal. So I think, you know, Congo has so much to offer the world, and what we have to do is to do our bit to make sure it gets to that place of peace and stability, so everything else can thrive. And good leaders do that part.
Yeah. In fact, I once referenced that Congo reminds me of the garden, of what the Garden of Eden might have been. You know? And what would you do if you had the opportunity to reclaim the Garden of Eden? This is what we're talking about. The beauty of it is astounding. You can just feel it while you're there.
I'll do in the back corner.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Manu. I'm and one of my questions, first of all, thank you so much for the insight and Congo. One of my questions is related to the US specifically. How do you want the US to combat the oppression in Congo, specifically with the rise of AI? A lot of AI technology is now up on the rise, and a lot of materials in Congo come from like materials like zinc and like things that are in our phones, our iPads, and our computers. They come from Congo. So with that in the society, on the rise, how do you want to see the U.S. in the upcoming elections? How do you want Kamala or our presidential elections?
Well, certainly we want a more progressive policy because what we've been doing is just wrong. You know, 50 years from the time of Leopold, the 1800s, and Leopold had Congo in his personal possession for 20 plus years. And from Leopold, we go to Belgium. We have 1 year democracy, and then we have another 30 years of Mobutu. So what do you expect Congo to be today? But all of that, our fingers, U.S. policy has been behind all of that. And so we are all responsible. We're funding this. Money is coming out of our pockets, and we have no say about how this money is being used. We should be. And there must be a way. So that's the first thing I want President Harris to do. I want her to make a strong stand with the people of the Congo, not with the minerals of the Congo, with the people. And that's where we start. Of course, and we do, there is one law that's on the books of the United States. So we call it the Obama law. It was passed, maybe it's only piece of legislation, I think, where we are required by law to sanction groups, entities, whoever is fomenting instability and war in the Congo. but we are not implementing it at all. So there's a lot of work to be done on the policy side as well. We think we are letting Rwanda, we are using Rwanda to push this agenda of keeping the Congo destabilized. And I know we all are caught up in this Rwanda genocide, but are we? The Congolese have to pay for what happened to the Rwandese? No, that is not what's supposed to be happening. And so, and what is happening in terms of the policies coming out of the Rwandan government, they are just abusing and exploiting the resources in the East, and they're supporting rebels, supplying them with guns and the like to keep the instability going. At one point, maybe 10 years ago or so, there was an accord where they persuaded and agreed that they weren't going to do that anymore. But here it is, 10 years later, they're doing the same thing. And so it's just a circle, round and around. But they are doing our bidding. They're not doing it on their own. So yes, if you are interested in political science and political work, there's a job for you. We've got to reshape U.S. policy into how we are responding to the Congo and in Africa in general. There was a second part of that, but I don't recall it.
It was specifically about AI.
I don't really know that much about AI in relationship to the Congo. I know there's so many brilliant Congolese. I wouldn't be surprised that they're involved in creating so much creativity in technology and science. Just brilliant young folks there looking for and hoping for an opportunity where they can use their abilities, because they go to school, they're very educated, but then what? There's nothing to do from there.
And just to add on that, I think we can all agree that the West has gotten where it is today because they've benefited from all the resources and minerals from other parts of the world, right? And when we're talking about Congo, you see, I just have this image of Congo being drained so that this part of the world can be enriched. Yeah. So I think it's about time that Congo and the African continent, that things go the other way around. Period.
Congo is, look, and this is the thing I would leave you with. Africa is awakening. Now you need to get on board or you're going to be left behind. Exactly. The last frontier is in Africa. Okay. So you need to be connecting. If you can't deal with the Congo, you need to be connecting somewhere in Africa, because that's where they're going to be the new developments all over. Africa is awakening, is coming into its power, and I want to be a part of it.
Okay, that concludes our panel discussion. I want to thank you guys so much. Let's give them a round of applause. That was truly amazing and incredibly impactful. Thank you so much. So next we are going to transition into some reflection questions from the audience. I would like one participant to first answer this first question, which reads, how does the information and stories shared today challenge your perception of international conflicts, especially those that don't receive widespread media attention?
I'll go here. Hi, I'm Sydney Reynolds from Wilton, Kentucky. I'm a sophomore chemistry major, and I think the way the information shared today changes my perception of international conflicts is by showing that it's not an us versus them and how an enemy can utilize its own people and hurting itself. And how the aspect of civil war, I think civil war has been very westernized. I didn't necessarily understand how it can be applied so specifically in countries where these types of things are going on. So it's not necessarily they want our minerals
So they're going to fund this, to do this, to do this, to eventually get our minerals. It's like a chain effect of things. And I didn't understand that pattern and the relationship they all had with each other. But I thank you for your presence today.
Thank you so much for that reflection. And can we please have somebody read the next question that reads, how has your understanding of the Congo's global importance changed, whether that be in terms of resources, environmental impact, human rights, etc.? Please share.
Hi everybody, my name is Leah Arnold. I'm a junior economics major with a minor in entrepreneurship and innovation. And my understanding of Congo and the global importance, really, first of all, I just wanted to thank you all for coming and sharing this information. It was very insightful. But I would say that for me, being able to have this takeaway of being mindful of the resources that we have so much, I would say being mindful of the resources that we're using and just making sure that, you know, we're properly, I would say, I would say that really just understanding that what we do has an effect. It's a chain effect, like everybody else has said, and that we need to be mindful and we need to use what we can, use social media, use our phones, use what we have to help the people in Congo. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Call to action. Participate in Congo Week, which will occur Sunday, October 13th through Saturday, October 19th. Congo Week began in 2008 and has the participation of people in over 70 countries and 500 campuses and communities. The links to support Friends of the Congo will be in the next slide. Currently, the Basandja Coalition is on their free Congo tour and will be at Morehouse College tomorrow discussing Congo's frontline defenders.
We want to thank you all so much for joining us today for our event entitled Citizens of the Congo. We want to give a huge thank you again to our panelists and the members of Friends of the Congo for joining us tonight. Please feel free to scan this QR code for the post-event evaluation form. Embedded at the top of this form, you will find the links to all of the resources mentioned in the previous slide. And on behalf of the ladies of the Kappa chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, we bid you a good night.
Thank you. Thank you very much.